Hi, welcome to I Tried to Eat My Phone. I am Karen Jaworski, and I am joined by Molly today, who I guess I've known you since Kara went to London. So, junior year?
20 something years.
Yeah, we won't math too much on that. Um, so I was thinking about when you were talking about traveling, and so Molly lived in London for a while. Do you do you have like uh has there been an experience during your travels where you had like a vista or something that you looked at and you went, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. Like I can't believe this is as beautiful as everyone says it is."
Well, I almost am going to take that and go a different direction and answer you with a story about the strangest and most kind of shocking place I've ever been, which was Nepal with my kids. And I believe I mentioned we had spent 6 months based in Hong Kong when my husband had a grant to do research there. And we thought, you know what? We're just going to absolutely go for this. And we put our kids in school there and made, sort of made a complete run for it. We rented out our house here in Boston. That would be like money for travel, like side trips during their school breaks in Hong Kong. They have school breaks too, which is strange. So my husband's like, "Oh, hey, my buddy that I went to high school with, he is in the foreign service and he's in Nepal, so I think we should go there." And I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, that sounds good. You're gonna plan that, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay." Touched down in Nepal, and it was like I was in a Jason Bourne movie. Like, no one is wearing jeans. No one is appearing in any way similar to anyone I'd ever seen before. And nothing resembles normality at all. And we
Mm-hmm.
got into the airport. It was complete chaos. And it was midnight by the time we got out, and his friend picked us up. And I said, "Midge, I can't believe you picked us up from the airport. It's midnight." And he said, "Well, what were you going to do?" And I said, "I don't know, take a cab." And he was like, "The streets don't even have names." He was like, "No one would ever be able to get you to my house." And we're like driving. He's like weaving in these dirt roads. This is, by the way, Kathmandu, the biggest city they have. And one of my kids said, "Oh, excuse me, what side of the road do you drive on in Nepal?" And he was like, "It hardly matters." And I was like, "Where are we? What is happening?" And he took us into his house, which is owned by the federal government, and said,
Mm-hmm.
"Do not drink the water here. Do not drink the water. Here's the water you can drink. It's out of this big metal tank. And get a cup right now, bring it up to your bedside so you can remember to brush your teeth with it because you cannot drink the water here. And if you drink the water here, you'll be very sick." And I can't really underestimate how many times he emphasized that. And
Mm-hmm.
we got in bed that night, and I turned to my husband and I was like, "Where the hell did you take me? If my kids are not okay after this, I will hurt you." And he was like, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be good." And I mean, that was the weirdest, craziest vacation of my life. So memorable, but I was terrified the entire time. I was so frightened of any kid imbibing a droplet of water or I don't know, us falling into a pothole on the dirt roads, or there's not like we you would go on like a road trip. You had to have guides with you all the time. You'd go on a road trip
Wow.
and like one of the kids would be like, "I have to go to the bathroom." And I'd be like, "No, you don't. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine." And they'd be like, "I have to go, Mom." And they would like literally pull over, and it would be somebody's house that you would go to the bathroom in. And these are the stand up bathrooms. You squat over a hole. And it was like it belonged to like a private person, but like that's normal because there's no 7-Eleven, there's no gas station for
Yeah.
you to go to the bathroom at. Yeah. So the whole time I was there, I could really hardly believe that I was there and was also very frightened.
That's why that you kind of answered my next question about like I was thinking I always love to hear people's stories of like peril when they travel. Like everyone has a story of like, okay, and then this crazy thing happened. Like, do you have any other stories of like stuff where you were
Of
like
peril? Oh, I got
completely
peril.
overwhelmed?
Oh,
Like
totally. I got peril. I've got a lot of peril. Okay, here's another peril. So we were in, as I mentioned, we were in Hong Kong. And we were like, okay, every time there's a holiday in the kids' school schedule, we're going to go somewhere. And so we're trying to map it all out. And there is a weekend in May. They just randomly had as a long weekend there in the special administrative region of China that is Hong Kong. And we're like, oh, I don't know what this is for. So anyway, it's a long weekend. So let's go to somewhere in China that we want to go to. Like, so let's go to Beijing and the Great Wall. Okay, great. So we start trying to plan this trip, and it's like really difficult for some reason. Like, he was like, my friend has a friend who's a travel agent, but he's asking her to do us a favor to take us to the Great Wall. And I was like, why is that such a favor? I mean, isn't that your job? I mean, we're willing to
yeah.
pay, what's the problem? So we start to realize as the day goes on that the reason she doesn't want to do that is because in China, they have about 2 days off of work a year. Literally, they have almost no holidays. And so every single person in China is trying to go to the Great Wall that day because that's their like Washington, D.C. And that's like their place to see for the first time in their lives. And so it was really, really crowded. Everywhere in Beijing and the Great Wall vicinities that weekend to a level that was definitely unsafe and uncomfortable. Um, but we did okay when we were with guides and they had like little shortcuts and inns and they could tell you what to do. But there was one day where my husband was like, "Oh, I don't think we need any help just to go to Tiananmen Square because it's right around the corner from this hotel. And I think we can do that ourselves." And I was like, "All right, if you say so." Yeah, again, the majority of the rest of China's citizens was also thinking that was a great idea to go to Tiananmen Square because they had like precious like less than 3 days off from their jobs in an entire year, and this
Right.
was like one of them.
So
And so I can't even describe the difficulties getting everything was blocked off and everything was like just being everyone is being just tunneled into these narrow paths and they're just literally thousands of people. And we were in a crush of people to the point where I was like, this could so easily result in a trampling. It's not even remotely far fetched. And I'm trying to freak out to him and yell at him without my kids sensing how terrified I was. And I said to him, I don't really care anymore if we see Tiananmen Square. I don't think this is a good idea. And I want to leave immediately. And he was like, oh no, it's right up here. It's right up here. They're checking everyone's passports to get into Tiananmen Square and there's just a lot of people for some reason. And it was the most like miserable like hour trying to get in this square. And it was also freakishly hot. And so there were just so many perils. I can't really be okay with every part of my body being touched by a Chinese person that is and they're just surrounding me. I'm in an ocean, and at any point, any one of my kids could go down and be like the carpet underneath China. And I didn't
But
want
did you enjoy it?
no, it was terrible. It was terrible. And when we finally got in there, I screamed at him properly because I had a little bit of more space. It was terrible. I don't know. Like, we just didn't know how to. There's certain places you just don't know how to do it without help. And that was one of them. And
Yeah.
there were some
Yeah.
things we learned over our travels that you just can't know unless you are from there. And
Hmm.
don't go
Yeah.
to Tiananmen Square on that one holiday is just something that everyone knows but you. And it's
I
unfortunate.
was just thinking when you were talking about this that I've never heard anyone utter the sentence in my whole life. Well, Tiananmen Square is just around the corner. Like, it's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that in my life. Like, hey, what are you doing today? Do you want
Let's just stop by.
to?
Yeah, we had
It's
a
like
vast midnight.
7-Eleven and then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Is yeah, as long as you don't have to go to the bathroom on the way, and then you'll be in trouble. There were so many
When
miscalculations there.
when you were an expat in London, I mean, did you feel, I know you said you felt like, was it never really felt like home, and I can understand that, but did you feel like, were there people that you felt like kind of took you in at any point, or did you feel a kinship with people living near you, or people that your husband worked with, or
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Being an expat is, I think, one of the coolest experiences life has to offer. And I would do it again tomorrow. I think it's so much fun. So when you're an expat, there's all these other expats, and you have to band together.
mm,
And in fact, this coming holiday has been making me remember, Thanksgiving in London. It's not a holiday there. That's a work day. They don't even have stovetop stuffing in the stores. It was hard to find pumpkin in a can, believe you me. But there's like the American store, and you go there, and you kind of have the absolutely this community with other American expats, and you have really cool friendships. And in my opinion, people who opt to take a job overseas are often like really interesting people, and really
mhm,
kind of fun. And so we had
mhm,
a great time. And in fact, I just feel like if you're somewhere longer than just a vacation, if you're somewhere like 3 weeks or more, you can get to know a place to the next level and form friendships. And
mhm,
that's one of, I think, the best experiences I've had in my life is being in a country. Long enough to make your own little community there, and I just crave it.
mhm.
I don't want to live in this country anymore, but
Did you
this is my trap.
did you do a lot of, like, I mean, I feel like Europe, I mean, I did the whole, backpack through there after college thing,
Yeah.
but did you feel like it was like, uh growing up in the Midwest, where you went to like a bunch of different states all the time for vacation? Like, did Europe feel like that to you?
Yes,
Did
it
you
did. It's
kind of?
bizarre. So you can go, yeah, you'd go to like I went to like Tuscany for like a long weekend. Or like,
Mm, mm-hmm,
we went to Prague for a weekend. And they have all these very affordable airfares
mm-hmm.
because everyone's doing that. And it's the norm. It's also
Yeah.
there if you have a job there. I actually had a job for a time, and so did my husband, obviously. It's totally typical. Like everyone is using their holiday to the utmost ability, and it's just the thing that's done. It's so like it's really respected travel and taking your days
Mm-hmm.
off. And where you are is so strangely located compared to what we're used to that I found myself doing the following things. Saying to my husband, like, oh, I just want to go on a beach vacation. People are saying that a great idea is to go to Egypt. So we literally went to Egypt with a baby just to go to the beach because it was closer. I mean, flight
Right.
like 11 hours. It's 5 hours to go
Yeah.
to the Red Sea Riviera
Oh
um,
my gosh.
of Abu Soma. And we literally stayed at a resort. There was like a kids club. Literally. Just, I didn't see any pyramids. I didn't see any pharaohs. I just went to the beach. And so
Yeah.
you had such a like proximity to crazy stuff. One of the weirdest places we went to then was Oman, which is a country I had never heard of, but
Uh-huh.
people go there for a beach vacation because Egypt's too crowded. It's so typical to go to Egypt from there. And I never like wrapped my head around that completely. Like how strange is it that if you want to go to the beach from London, you go to Egypt? Weird, right?
Sorry, that last part cut out. What was the last sentence you said?
Oh, I just said I never really got over the fact that if you want to go on a beach vacation and you live in London, a very typical, actually boring place to go for them is to go to Egypt because it's that's what's close.
Is there a place that like when because I think of with travel, I think of where would I like to go back to and where have I never been that I would like to go? Where's your place you'd like to go back to and your place you've never been that you'd like to go?
Um, so it's really not a very exciting answer, but I've been to Ireland
Mm.
like 3 or 4 times. I would totally go there again. And it's gotten me thinking about it because my kids are older now, and my husband is of Irish descent with the name Malloy.
The Malloy. Yeah.
Exactly. The shocker. It's Irish descent. Um, and she was listening. My youngest kid was listening to an audiobook about a family um, migrating away from Ireland during the potato famine, and it was like a very riveting story. I was like, "What's going to happen next?" And and it's based on historical facts that
Mm.
so many people left during that time, and it has become definitely an interest of mine to go back to Ireland again with my kids and to see like where their ancestors are from. I think that's really cool. And Ireland is just always pretty. It's always fun. It's a really beautiful place. And there are a lot of places I have not been that I would like to go. A lot.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
I'm
what's at the top of your list?
I'm dying to go to Iceland. And what's really annoying is it's like not even that hard to go there. It's like close. I'm like, what's the problem? Pandemic, get out of the way. I really want to go there. Um, I have never been to South America really. That's
Mm. Mhm.
that's definitely on our list. We've had a lot of great opportunities and I think like because we have done the expat thing, we're just not afraid to go like make bold moves. You just kind of
Mhm.
have more of a um, sort of tolerance for like longer flights and um, that kind of thing. One of our bucket list items was a safari, and we went last summer to South Africa. Not this past
Ah.
summer, 2019, the good
Yeah,
year,
no,
not
no, no.
2020,
Yeah.
the bad year. So we had so much fun in South Africa. It was really, really cool. We went on on a safari. But I've
Cool.
done that, but I've never been to Portugal. I would really like to go there, and I would like to go to um, uh, yeah, really, there's a ton of places. I would. I'm just enchanted by travel. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Molly. I appreciate you talking about this today. This was
Good.
fun.
Thank you.